Hey, how are you? And welcome back. This is Michael Williams. We're going to continue with our series entitled, How Do I Discover or How Do I Find My Passion, Purpose, and Destiny? Now, in each of these video reflections, we're going to try to focus on those areas specifically. So, in some videos we'll be looking more at purpose, and other videos more at passion, and then still others on destiny. We know these things are all related, but we will try to focus on each one of them individually in the various sessions. I love doing these. I love thinking about this. I love living it, and I love sharing it with you because it's so very important that you and I reflect on, think about, and then one way or another implement in our life our passions and live out our purpose and understand that we do have a destiny. And that's why I love this so much. So this particular reflection is entitled, You Are Here on Purpose. You're here on purpose. I'd like to read something to you from a wonderful little coffee table book that was given to me a year and a half ago by one of my coworkers named Laura. And it's entitled, How Many People Does It Take to Make a Difference? And it's got 1 on there. This is a great little book. I hope they don't mind me using a little bit of it as I read from it in this video here. And I'd like to just look at just a couple of things. On one of the pages here, right at the beginning, it says, You are not here by mistake. Around the world and down through the ages, there has never been another you. And there will never be another you. The miracle of your existence is now in your hands. You are here for a purpose. You have something that only you can give to the world. Take time to consider what it is. And then on the other page, it actually talks about the odds. So it says here that statistically, the probability of any one of us being born exactly as we are in this precise time and place is so unlikely that your very existence verges on the miraculous and should be a continuing source of dazzlement for you. It says, the odds of your being born in this particular time, place, and circumstance are about 1 in 400 billion. 1 in 400 billion. The odds of you or I being born at this time, in this place, in these circumstances. So it's not by mistake that we're here. We're here on purpose. We're here for a purpose. And many of us wonder, okay, what is that purpose? What is my reason for being? So I'd like for you to think about a few things. One is that we were born with certain characteristics that were very similar to our earthly parents. So if you look at our earthly parents, our earthly mother and father, you're going to see some similar characteristics, right? Usually, okay? Sometimes you look at a baby and you go, where did he or she come from? It doesn't look like neither one of us. But most of the time there are some similar characteristics. But not only are there similar physical characteristics, there are also similar personality characteristics, yes? Okay. So in the same way that we have similar characteristics to our earthly parents, we also have similar characteristics to our heavenly parent, to God, our Father. Some people like to refer to God as just God or God Mother, God. In this video, I'm just going to refer to God as God or God the Father. So hopefully that does not offend anyone. But the point is, we have similar characteristics to our Heavenly Father. Now, what do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. And there are 2 specific characteristics that I want us to look at in this video. One is that we have an ability, a desire, and often a need to create. We have the ability, we have the desire, and we often have a need to create something, right? And we'll go into what that what that means in just a few minutes. We also have an ability, a desire, and a need to what? Relate, right? To relate, to be in relationships with other people. So let's just take a look at both of these then. When we talk about create, we're talking about bringing into existence something that's not here now. This can mean anything from creating an environment or a household that's comfortable, that's peaceful for your family and for yourself. It could be creating a product or a service or inventing something. It can also mean learning something new or exploring something. That's a part of our creativity or creative process. When a child draws something, or they make something, or they build something, that's part of that creative process coming out, right? When a child wants to explore and wants to learn, that's all part of that what? Creative process. So we're born with it, right? We're born wanting to explore, wanting to learn something new, wanting to build or create or do something new, okay? We are born with this innate ability, with this innate desire and drive and often need. But what happens is as we get older, sometimes we smother that, right? Sometimes it seems like it dies, but it's still there. Now here's what I want you to see. Those desires and that need that you have, which often can be discovered when you see a need in your community or in your household or in your business or company or in the world. You see a need and you want to do something about it. You feel like, wow, I've got a solution for this, or I think I can fix this, or I think I can make that better. Well, that desire that you have, that opportunity that you've seen, and that drive to want to do something about it is a part of your creative process. But it also, now listen, now watch this, reflects and determines your purpose. It reflects and determines your purpose. So it is reflective of, is when you look at, okay, I want to create something, I want to create this thing, and I just feel like I have to do it. That is reflecting who you are and why you're here, okay? Because you now have been presented with an opportunity and more than likely an ability to bring something into existence that wasn't here before. And whatever it is that you're about to bring into existence is going to impact the lives of other people. We'll talk about that a little later. Now, so it's reflective of your reason for being here. Also, it's determinate. That is, when you bring it into existence, it then says, wow, you just created this. You just impacted this person. You just brought this into existence. And it says, wow, this is one of the reasons you were here. You were here to do this and you did it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So you are here on purpose, and one of the ways, it's not the only way, but one of the ways that you can live out that purpose, you can reveal that purpose, is to look inside yourself. And also, as you're doing that, as you're reflecting, you are consulting with God through prayer, through the Word, through circumstances, through wise counsel, and you're exploring those desires that you have, that need that you have, that creative process that God has given you, okay? Because in that exploration, in that process, which can be frustrating at times, but also be satisfying, in that exploration, you're going to be discovering your purpose in life. I hope that makes sense. Now, the second characteristic that we have is the ability, the desire and the need to relate, right? To relate with those around us and to relate with God. So we have this void or this area in our life, this place that only God can fill, right? So we have this need to be in a relationship, and only God can fill that relationship. And that's why it's important that we are in a personal relationship with God. But we also have a need to be in a relationship with others, right? And Howard Gardner, he is the one who developed what we call multiple intelligences, which we'll talk about in other video reflections. But it says that you're not just smart in one way, that is math, English, science, but you're smart in many different ways. You can be smart physically, you can be smart musically, artistically, so forth. People can also be smart interpersonally, that is, they're very good at working with other people, they're very good with relating to other people, they're very good at influencing and leading other people, very good at helping other people, right? So what we find out then is that we have this need to relate to other people, to be affirmed by other people, and to affirm other people. Our lives are influenced by others, and we influence and impact other people's lives. So what we discover is that you are here and you are who you are because there are people out there whose lives need to be influenced and impacted by you, and that no one else can impact them in the same way that you can, right? Because you just saw that there's not going to be anybody else like you, exactly like that. The odds of that are 1 in 400 billion, right? So therefore, there are certain things that only you can say, certain things you can bring to the table that no one else can. And as you impact the lives of other people, that is, as you say whatever it is that you say, as you give them that smile, as you inspire them, as you encourage them, as you advise them, right? Or as you're just there with them, you are impacting their life in a way that's reflecting your reason for being here. Okay, so there's going to be times when someone's life is made better, right? Where someone makes it through something, or someone learns something, or they hear something, or they get an idea, right? Or they're saved as a result of something that you say, that you do. Could be just as a result of your presence, right? Just your smile, your demeanor, the way you are may uplift someone and encourage them to continue on. There are people who may be thinking about committing suicide or giving up or something, and just something that you say, something that you do, a note that you write, email, text, phone call, saves their life. Okay, it happens all the time. So never underestimate the power of your presence and of your impact and influence on other people. I don't care who you are, what your background, you are having an impact on other people. It's just a matter of, are you determining what that impact is? Is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? So when you leave the earth, are people going to say, who? Or are they going to remember who you were? Okay? So the question is then, how are you going to bring into existence those things that only you can create? How are you going to impact and influence the lives of people that only you can impact and influence? Right? And that when you start to think about those things, when you start to look at them, and when you start to do them, you'll get a glimpse of your purpose, right? And so what happens to us is sometimes we feel like, well, there's certain things that's stopping me, my background and so forth. But just remember, there's no barrier that can keep you from living out the reason that you're here. Because otherwise you wouldn't be here, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be in the situation or circumstances that you are now. You're there for a reason, and so there are no obstacles that can prevent you from living out, from satisfying or fulfilling that reason or those reasons. Does that make sense? Well, hopefully this has been helpful to you. It's been helpful for me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next reflection. And once again, this is Michael Williams, and thank you for joining me.